Welcome to the Make It Pass Show. I'm Mick.
I'm Pat.
Yeah, Pat's turning on our air conditioning in the studio here. It's a hot one.
It is. It's toasty.
It's probably the hottest it's been all summer today.
Yeah. So if the sound quality, if all of a sudden it's like, man, that got bad, it's because if we go long, I might be occasionally running that AC in the background.
Well, also, I just don't care if there's background sound like that. Like, I don't care. You know, people have heard my dog in the back and stuff, right? Our
That's
dog.
true.
We're married. Pat and I actually got a dog together. We're married. Gay couple. Can
Can you be a married same-sex couple and not be gay?
Yes. Are you kidding me? You asked that question in today's day and age?
I know. There's so many options.
I could be a transgender heterosexual
There's so many ways
that
to.
still identifies as a male.
There's so many ways to skin the pickle.
We could be
these
whatever
days.
we want, honestly. And I'm not even saying that to like be instigating or insulting. I'm just saying like the paperwork is there, right? Anywho, I think it's been not that hot of a summer. I think it's been a wet summer. I think it's been more humid and wet out here in the wild. Like, what do we say? I guess we're technically still the west, east of the west.
Yeah.
But yeah, here in Colorado, it's been rain every afternoon, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But not nearly as hot as last. I felt like last summer was way more days over 100.
Yeah.
Like cooking hot.
Are we in the dog days yet, though? Is it gonna?
Ooh.
You know.
It's interesting you say dog days.
Mm.
This is a tangent. I wasn't expecting to talk about this. I'm listening to a really good book right now called The Stand by Stephen King. And it's just like Stephen King's magnum opus. It's like 49 hours long.
Mm.
And in it, there's this like 16, 17-year-old kid who just knows a crap load about everything. But anyways, the dog days was way more known back in the day of what it meant. But do you know what it means?
I don't.
You've never... when have you heard it used for what time frame?
I've heard it in old songs. There's an old song. Like from like
Florence and the Machine's not old, okay?
No, it's
that's like a 10-year-old song.
No, it's like I've heard it in an older song too.
Okay.
And then I've just heard it like, I don't know, used colloquially.
What would you guess that it means? And it's really like, I'm not trying to trap you, but I think everyone has a perspective of what it means based off of like, you know, Florence and the Machine's lyrics of the dog days are over.
Oh yeah.
And it's about like some girl running out, running away from her problems or whatever, leaving the bad guy.
Yeah. I have no idea why. I just always pictured a dog just sweating, just hot.
Dogs don't sweat.
You know, wishing it could.
Wishing it could sweat. Yeah.
You know?
No, if you were to put a definition to what dog days are, you would say it's the days when it's so hot, a dog just sweating.
That would be, because otherwise I've never thought about it. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know when it's,
I think a lot of
but
people
I don't know what it is.
A lot of people think it also means like the bad days, the bad times, like when you're down on your luck or you're in a rut. But the dog days were referred to like the ending of July into end of September, where it was most common every year around that time for rabid dogs to be an issue. And it was like clockwork. Every year, the dogs that were stray off of farms or towns or whatever, that's when you would see the more like increased rabid dogs coming around and stuff as like it started like cooling from the peak heat. But the heat would also drive them deranged. So it's like, you know, you reach that peak heat of summer and then you're going into fall. And it's that like climax and then descent that has the rabid dogs show up. And that's what dog days means. The dog days was that time period of rabid dogs, which we kind of just don't have that anymore because we just have a rabies vaccine that we can just give out to most dogs. And there's not nearly as many like rural countryside packs of dogs roaming around. So anyways, I learned that from The Stand, which by the way, Pat,
do I need to read it?
You need to read it.
I need a break from my French literature.
It's Stephen King, and Stephen King, I thought, from like the few things I've read of his, like short stories and a couple of books, I've always thought he's pretty decent. He's pretty good. But dude, this is a great book. Like this is very well written, and it's gosh, I would say it was 10 hours into the book before the antagonist got introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And everything leading up to that was like just amazing character and scenario development. But let me pitch it to you. Do you know The Stand? Have you heard of it?
I haven't.
A lot of people are familiar with it because it was a mini series in the 90s on TV, and then they did another like reboot of it that flopped really hard. It was made for cable television. Sorry, not cable. It was made for like ABC, like a modern audience on ABC or whatever, or CBS, and they just toned it down so much that like it was boring as heck.
Yeah.
Well, you realize an apocalypse story about the devil incarnate versus a not a messiah, but the almost like the John the Baptist. It's like John the Baptist versus like Satan almost, and it's like grand abstraction. And you realize without violence and gore and all that stuff that would not make it on like normal day television, just very boring.
Yeah,
because it's just a lot of dialogue. But anyways, the book is really good. It takes place. The one I'm reading is the uncut version of the book, which he republished in the 90s because he originally published it in the 70s, but they just didn't have actual book binding that could bind a book as big as that and sell it for profit, like mass produced. So like you got to cut out 400 pages so that way we can afford to sell it at $14.99, and it only costs like $3 to make. And so King cut it out, and then he added those 400 pages mostly back in for the uncut version when he had big money and he could force a publisher to just publish it because he's Stephen King and it's going to sell.
Yeah.
So anyways, it takes place in the 90s, this version. If you read the earlier version or listen to it, it takes place in the 70s. But a virus escapes. It's a flu virus that kills 99.7% of the human population.
Wow.
And it does it.
That almost happened to us. Not
really, though. No, you mean 99.7% of the population was fine? That's what you mean. Yeah. No, but this the virus goes and spreads and all that, and that's probably one of the most like inherently fascinating parts of the book. Well-written parts is like there's a point where you just are going from person that gets introduced, name, background, who they are, and you're like, oh, this might be another main character. And then you realize you're listening to a chapter where it's just the virus spreading from them to the next person introduced to the next person introduced, and you realize all his people are dead. And all the kids in their car with them on their family road trip are dead. And all the people they encountered at the business conference are going to die. And anyways, this flu virus incubates and kills pretty quick, leaving 0.3% of the world left alive. And the survivors after that start having these dreams. And they're dreaming about Mother Abigail. Mother Abigail on the farm. And she's the oldest woman living in America. And she's this sweet old black woman who can pick a guitar. She's certified from her birth certificate, 125 years old. And Reagan sent her a letter certifying she was the oldest living American at one point. And for some reason, God has given her the ability to see some of these people in her dreams. And then God gives everybody dreams of her. And she says, you come find me now out here in Nebraska at Hemingford Home. And so everyone's receiving this dream. But then everyone's also receiving the dream from the dark man. The dark man in their dream is a man with no face. He smiles wide. Sometimes he comes as like a manifestation of like a shadow in cornfield or like a giant red, they say eye, like weasel eyes, like just a jet black reflective red eye and the light. And he also is calling to people to come to him. And he's calling for them to come to him in Nevada, into Las Vegas. And eventually it gets to like Boulder, Colorado, where they got like the free zone in Boulder, Colorado with Mother Abigail and the main characters of the book. And then there's the antagonist in Las Vegas building his forces. And it's like you realize it goes from like, ooh, post-apocalypse flu epidemic, how are we going to survive and rebuild, to like, oh my gosh, like I guess it is a lot easier for Christ to come the second time and everyone on earth to see him if, there's not that many people left on Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, I don't know how it ends, right? I don't know if Christ, I don't think there is a messianic birth. I think it's alluded to that there could be someone who's carrying the Messiah. But it's very clear, like, Randall Flagg is painted to be the incarnation of Lucifer, or at least the version of an antichrist on Earth. And there's a lot of spiritual warfare that's very like well written in it. Like, Stephen King doesn't just poop on Christianity. Like, all the characters are very well written, and Mother Abigail is not like a cringy, like, Southern God-fearing woman. Like, it's very authentic. And there's a lot of characters who are just like, even, just as it would say in the Bible, like, they see visions, they see things manifest in front of them and miracles, and they're like, I don't believe. And Mother Abigail always says to them, was like, well, you don't believe in God, but God believes in you, because, like, he's shown me you, and he's told me you got purpose here. And it's like really good stuff like that, where, characters go on journeys. But it's really fascinating. I really enjoy it. I'm over halfway through. And the best part of the book is just like the character building, slice of life conversations and dialogue, and like how people are coping with, like, okay, the beginning of the summer in June, the world ended. It's now entering into September, and we're all coming to terms with, like, there is legit going to be a showdown between good versus evil, and it's follows a bunch of people as they cross the country. It's pretty good. Any thoughts on that? Do you feel like that sounds dumb?
No, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna listen to it.
It's a great use of your credit on Audible.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like they tried to do it in 2020, a mini series on it.
Yeah, it sucked.
I bet
it was bad. It was also like something that they were like, let's roll out in 2020 during the flu epidemic, the COVID epidemic. And it turns out, like, even with, like, people tuning in to watch it because they're like, oh gosh, COVID, like, and this is, like, sensational material during COVID, everyone was so disappointed. Everyone was like, dude, this sucks. It's so boring. Yeah. And the original miniseries holds up really well.
But they're making a movie. It was announced.
Really?
Like,
I didn't know it was announced.
Like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. That's timely.
Yeah. Or maybe 2 weeks ago, whatever. Like, it just happened. So we'll see what they do. Lots of people are like, you have to make it into 3 movies if you want it to be good.
I feel like it's way too big for one movie.
Yeah.
It's not Lord of the Rings big, across those 3 books, but it is way bigger than I think a 3-hour movie could do justice.
I think that'll be good. I'm going to listen to it. See how it goes, and then I'm going to watch the movie, be disappointed, as we do when we watch movies of books we like. But maybe I won't be disappointed because I know what I'm getting into. And I could use a break from I'm just about to wrap up Les Mis. I've been on the grind of the French literature, and I need
You have been for like months.
I need a break. It's all, I don't even know any characters' names anymore. It's just,
it's like, yeah, it's all just croissant.
Yeah.
Croissant, monsieur, croissant.
So I'm...
Oui, croissant. Oui, monsieur, croissant. My wife has been listening to a bunch of the, what is it, Billie Jean's... I'm going to be mad that I can't remember. It's the detective, the French detective who solves, like, the death on the Nile and the murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, the Pink Panther.
No, not the Pink Panther. Okay, never mind.
Who is that?
It's a French guy. It's so French. His name's obtusely French and hard to pronounce.
Oh, I don't know. I guess if you say it, I might know it, but I have no idea.
Agatha Christie's the author. Which, her name doesn't sound that French.
Her name?
Hercule Poirot.
Huh. Yeah.
Detective Hercule Poirot.
I didn't know about that one,
but this is a cool thing. My wife got, like, not Agatha Christie's entire encyclopedia of work for one credit, but a bunch of it.
Oh wow!
And so she's just got like 8 or 9 of her crime books.
Nice
to listen to. I did the same thing for Dostoevsky, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and I just got all of his books in one Audible credit. When it opens with the banger, it opens up with the Brothers Kazmanov.
Wow.
Which, do you know what that one is?
Heard of it? Yeah. I don't know about it, but it
seems as the Russian version almost of East of Eden. Like brothers all like coming together in the death of their father and the anger of inheritance and the suspicion of murder. It's very family drama based. It seems like it's tragic though, because the book opens up with like a preface from the narrator, and the hero main character of the book was named after Dostoevsky's son who had died of like the flu or something at like 13. And so it was kind of like a book commemorating his son's very optimistic and heroic young man behavior. But anyways, if you guys want like good use of your credits, go out and like grab those big things where they're like 230 hours long for a single $15 credit. You'll be good and cooking for a while.
Yep. Those are nice ones. You get all those go. It gives you it's kind of, I like to read through like the same author's stuff a few times. Gives you a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah.
But I did read Crime and Punishment in high school. I do not remember it.
I heard that was a good one too, because it's like, isn't it like someone framed for murder or something in it? And it's like he's on trial, and it's the subject of like isn't that book all about like it's better for one man to be sentenced and executed, better for one innocent man to be sentenced and executed than 1,000 guilty men to be let off? I can't remember. I remember it was like the inverse perspective of like the American judicial system.
And honestly, like I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I read it, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I was assigned it.
I remember I was reading Milkweed when a friend was reading Crime and Punishment, and I saw Milkweed and how thick it was, which was like, I don't know, it's like a 230-page book, I think. And then I saw Crime and Punishment. I'm like, why would you ever pick that as your book?
I'm out.
You're dummy.
Yeah.
Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
I think after this one, I'm gonna do the Russian books next. Maybe some Nietzsche, Dostoevsky. What's the other guy that starts with a V? Oh,
Dostoevsky? You're talking about that?
No, there's another guy.
Vladimir.
Whatever.
Victor.
I think Tolstoy. Is Tolstoy Russian? No, he's not.
Eastern European.
Yeah, but just trying to educate myself. And I think some of the books like Crime and Punishment and stuff that in high school I was totally uninterested in.
Yeah. And rightly so, because I don't think I could comprehend those. And I'll say there's a few things I've read now that I comprehend and appreciate way more than I did in high school when I was like forced to like read them at home. And I'm like, dude, please, like the last thing I want to say here is read this book that someone's telling me I have to read and I have no interest in. Like when you come to a book and you have an already inherent interest in it, it's far more engaging and investing than like it being an assignment.
Yeah, definitely. So what I need a break from the French stuff. So I guess I'll just listen to a long epic tale of darkness of humanity through the eyes of Stephen King. But also, sounds like there's a lot of light in there. Got to get your fight on. So we'll see at the. I was trying to find when the movie's coming out. No, I don't think they know yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I was looking it up.
They will. We'll see.
But I will say for anyone who was listening and cares, The Stand does have depictions of like some pretty. I mean, there's graphic depictions of people dying from illness, people being murdered. There is like some sexual language or description that comes out of like left field. Sometimes you're like, oh, I guess, I mean, this could be this person's thoughts. Kind of weird. I don't think I needed to know that was their thoughts or how they're viewing someone else. And then there is a couple like sex scenes that are like easily skippable if you just want to fast forward it and are interested. I just always fast through it because I feel weird listening to that stuff when I'm like walking my dog.
Yeah.
Just like I always, for some reason, and I don't think this is a bad thing. For some reason, whenever I like hear a sex scene being narrated in a book, I just think of that scene from The Office where like they catch Meredith listening to not Meredith, what's her name? I can't remember.
Angela?
No, not Angela, the bigger, heavier woman.
Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. What's her name?
She's married to Bob Vance.
Yeah, I got Bob Vance Refrigeration.
Yeah.
It's an old lady name.
Anyways, she's listening to it and they catch her because she's making weird sounds and faces and starting to sweat. And they're like, what are you doing? And then they like, Phyllis, yeah. And then Andy confiscates it from her and he's listening to it later in his office. And he's going like, because he's the boss at this point, and his eyes are closed and he's like, oh, and then Dwight dumps water on him to like get it over and stuff out. So funny. And now I just always think of that scene and I just am like, I don't want to be Andy getting caught listening to this weird stuff by anybody.
Yeah.
So I just skipped through it. There's also, I'm pretty sure, a single rape scene that I've fast forwarded past. It was just to the point where I was like, I'm pretty sure this person's about to get raped, and I just skipped through it. And it was done in like 2 skips or whatever. So anyways, all that said, it's not like super visceral graphic or like excessive, but it is like, hey, this happens in a world where there's no longer law and order. Like there's sometimes bad people who are also immune to the virus and survive. And you're going to have to deal with those bad people.
Yep. Man. Well, speaking of that stuff, I mean, there's a lot of people mad right now.
Oh yeah, speaking of people mad about a sexual predator getting off scot-free, kind of.
Did he?
Well, Diddy did get off. Oh, did
too.
he? But yeah, did he? Yeah, that is frustrating that Diddy got off scot-free, basically charged on one thing. That one to me though was a little bit more clear of why he got cut off, because they tried to get him with the racketeering thing that they go after all the mobsters with.
Yeah,
not FOIA. It's another acronym. RICO. Racketeering something.
And it's like, it's kind of like when some political party brings a bill and they just want to stack it all in there.
Yeah.
Hey, this getting shot down if you put it on there. But some of the stuff he did, he's getting sentenced in October.
Yeah, but it's weak, man. He only got found convicted on like some weak charges of like, what was it? It was like
it was
like transporting a prostitute.
Yeah. Whatever. He could get up to like probably 25 years though, I thought.
Oh, really?
If maximum sentencing.
I thought it went down to like time served, basically.
Well, I think that's max. That's the thing too. Like, you can get 10 years in prison for like carrying around an unauthorized weapon, or $10,000 up to.
Yeah,
but you're probably not going, right? Like, so you're probably not gonna, or whatever. But, but no, not him. The big guy, the big dead guy, old Epstein, is living on through, the continued, lack of information coming out that's been promised to the people, stuff that people was part of what they ran on politically to be able to, get elected. And so this last week, the stuff that Trump said and that other people in his cabinet some of the FBI director, other people saying that this list doesn't exist. Maybe never did.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's a total gaslighting, man. You can't say it doesn't exist after at least dozens of people, maybe hundreds, have seen it and said, like, I've seen the list, Trump's on it. I've seen the list, Biden's on it. I've seen the list. Here are the people who were listed on it and referenced in it. And it's just like, okay, like, and now it's like, there is no list. Oh, by the way, there's not just no list. There's no one else in the video footage we've looked at. It's just Epstein and these kiddos. No one else, just them. I'm just like, dude, this is a travesty. I'm actually, this could make me not vote for anyone else in this admin ever again. Like, it legitimately could. Like, if it's not righted and not corrected here soon, I could really see myself not voting for Vance ever again. I could see myself not voting for certainly any of these dudes who are in director roles or deputy director roles for the FBI if they ever decided to go political. It's just pretty nasty, and it feels, especially when Trump dismissed it as like, you're still talking about that guy? I was just like, are you kidding me, dude? We're talking about the guy who ruined the lives and probably he's easily ruined the lives of thousands of children by trafficking them. He's likely murdered or is responsible for the murder of probably thousands of people. Either through like blackmail or through like just covering up, getting rid of people who would have been a problem. And
then his right hand, Maxwell, going to prison for...
She's 25 years or 20 years for trafficking children? To
nobody.
Yeah, to nobody. She trafficked the kids, but it was from Epstein back to Epstein. It was never to anyone else. And I'm just like, that makes no sense at all. And we all know it makes no sense. And they're like just looking at us like we should just forget about it.
Like we're idiots. And while I might be an idiot, I'm not that dumb.
Yes. As Stu Redmond says in The Stand, country don't mean dumb.
Exactly. And so I think that, there's lots of conjecture on what's going on. I think a big part of it is that, so many people, and it's what everybody said, so many people on both sides of the aisle are involved to the point where they're just not going to out themselves and out their people. The other piece being, I do believe it has a lot to do with our intelligence arm and other countries' intelligence arms and
other countries,
multiple other countries,
other countries.
And there's actually a really good podcast by Daryl Cooper, the Martyr Made podcast. He does a Epstein series, and he breaks down all these. It's hours and hours long where he really gets to lots of details of kind of like the Epstein stuff, but alongside that, like other trafficking rings and things like that over time, and like big players over history who've been involved in it, and really gets into Epstein's history also, as well as Ghislaine Maxwell's history and her dad's history, of where he came from. And there's, just the fact that Epstein wasn't an anybody. He was a nobody.
No, like there's no evidence for where any of his money came from.
He's literally nobody.
Like his stock exchange stuff is like one day he had money to really put in to some hedge funds, but like he didn't make that initial money from those funds. Like, and his money came out of thin air.
And the school he got his first job at, where he wasn't even licensed to like teach or whatever, got a job there, and the headmaster was, I forget his last name. Is Comer? Which guy?
Andrew Comer or the other one? The dude who is running to be mayor of New York City, or was running?
No, maybe I have the last name wrong, but it's it's an old guy. He's old. He's dead and gone. But he was the headmaster of the school, And he had written a novel, like a space sci-fi novel about basically that had a lot of, underage sex, or not underage is the wrong word. It was, a lot of had pedophilia, had stuff in there, and it had, a lot of gross stuff. And he was the one who first.
Headmaster was Donald Barr.
Barr, yep. So look up his son.
Isn't Donald Barr also Ghislaine's dad?
No, his name, he changed his name. He was originally from Europe, and he, during the Zionist movement, came over.
Space Relations.
Yeah, Space
Primitive
Relations.
Man.
Yeah, was the book written by a guy who's in charge of a school, filled with pedophilia. Maxwell's dad, he came from Eastern Europe. Or did he come from Britain? He's Jewish. He came over through with the Zionist movement and changed his name. And was most likely linked to Mossad and some other things. And then, but for this headmaster guy for Barr, he really is kind of where you see while Epstein was under him for a while, and then he leaves, and then all of a sudden Epstein's career kind of explodes. And then who's Barr's son? Barr's son was a big dog in politics. He was like the director of
William Barr.
William Barr.
Yeah.
And he was the one who
Stephen Barr as well.
What was his job? But he
served as 77th U.S. Attorney General for George Bush and 85th U.S. Attorney General for Donald Trump.
Yeah, he was Attorney General, and you get up there and lie about stuff, So, anyways, these guys now, high society elites are all tied together, anyways. That's whether they're good or bad people, whatever it is. They know each other. Their kids go to school together, whatever. But the Martyr Made podcast really draws some. It takes a really good history lesson and pulls you through kind of everything that happened. But I think a lot of people are let down. A lot of people are upset. It's like it was something that was kind of promised and ran on that we would have, something that would be released. Much less like the whole thing would be released.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it has to do with the fact that it's non-party related, it's elite related, and it is, I think it does have to do with our intelligence agencies. I mean, that's how the intelligence agencies run. Like, you deal with people in big power, you deal with gross stuff, you deal with blackmail,
lie all the time,
lying and deceit and these things. And so to put pressure on people and to put pressure on, people who run big companies or have big influence. And so that's just what it is,
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's super sad and disheartening because I don't think it leaves any room for faith in the government to look after you. Like, this pretty much just says if the government's not going to seek justice for children who were trafficked and raped by, an insane magnitude. I mean, we're talking thousands of people who crossed paths with Epstein and worked on his island, and he knew everybody. It seems like, and if they're not going to seek justice for those people who were victims of that, the most heinous thing on earth, I don't think anyone has faith in them doing anything right by them and getting justice for anything else. You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to think and have the faith in the judicial part of your government. You're supposed to have the faith in them that it doesn't matter how expensive and inconvenient and how little there is to be gained in doing the right thing. The judicial arm of the government is supposed to judge and prosecute and pursue those who have broken the law. And to see that it doesn't do it if there's nothing to be gained, which the truth is what is there to be gained other than, if we talk about this objectively, what is there to be gained other than people's approval? Well, you lose, there's nothing. You get the approval and trust of the people, but you lose all of those people and assets that now you have dirt on and have information and blackmail on that now you can use Epstein's black book of blackmail against them, right? It's like Epstein kept all these people doing whatever he wanted and giving him money, and he catered and probably blackmailed all these people for decades, and now all of a sudden it's in our hands. We can use it too, because why would we prosecute I don't know, Schmill Gates. Why would we prosecute him when we could just put our thumb on him and own him? You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. And I get, like, if anyone feels like this is conspiracy stuff, great. Who cares? Like, I don't. Like, you can take it to the bank. At this point, it's like, it just seems like, it doesn't seem conspiratorial at all to me. It just seems like them's the stakes there, bud. Them's how the dice roll out, and it does feel like I was led on pretty hard. And I think that's what a lot of people feel like. A lot of people feel like, damn, we really thought we get this fresh blood in there, dudes who aren't career politicians, that they would do the right thing and know what to do. And then now Kash Patel gets in there, rolls over immediately like a dog for a treat. Or I don't know, maybe not a dog for a treat. Maybe he is sitting doe-eyed, terrified, like a deer in the headlights, praying that they don't hit him. And praying that he's going to be spared. He really, honestly, like, and I know we were talking offline about this, but like Dan Bongino, how do you fucking say it? Bongino. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel both were such big talkers, enthusiastic, passionate about, getting into the Epstein files and all the information they've heard on it and their sources before they got into the FBI. And now as director and deputy director, they don't look like they've exhaled in weeks. Like, they look to me like they're still holding their breath. Their eyes are bloodshot. Dude, Dan looks like he is on the verge of crying or exploding and screaming and yelling. And for him to do like, I was never a big follower of him, but like I've seen the, episodes of his podcast where he was talking about, like, or clips of it where he's talking about how, like, Epstein did not kill himself. There's no way. And like, here's the reason why, yada, yada, yada. And we have it like from Epstein's friend who told, like, Epstein said, hey man, just know I'm not suicidal. I don't plan on killing myself. Like, I'll win this in court. And I think it was Epstein's brother who said that, actually. And then all of a sudden he's in there and he looks like he's holding his breath, holding a turd in, trying not to poop his pants. And he's at the camera. He's like, he committed suicide. He committed suicide. No one killed him. He killed himself. And it's just like, he's not I'm like waiting. I'm watching. I'm like, when's he going to exhale? And be like, oh, okay, I said it. Now will you let my family go? Now will you stop blackmailing me? I don't know. Actually, I say I don't know. I do know. I know that these dudes got freaking picked over. Because that's the total 180 of their body language and everything, right?
Yeah, because they're not... That would show that they're not just like fake actors. Not saying they're not lying, but just like... If it was
you think they're trying to blink at us?
No, meaning like some guy...
Help me.
Yeah, for real.
I can't tell you.
Exactly. Where it's like... But there's some guys charismatic, can pull the wool over your eyes, whatever, with everything he does, versus somebody who like is charismatic and speaking this certain way and then is not that way when they're
not anymore.
Like in this other
not after
sense,
they got shown just the amount of lizards that live among us. They honestly do look like, it was crazy. I just thought it was funny outside of this whole scenario or situation, but I did see like a before and after of like Kash Patel before he got sworn in to be director of the FBI. And like, it was like a month later. And bro, that guy looks like he aged 20 years. Maybe not 20. He looks like he aged probably 5 years and put on 10, 15 pounds. Like, of just like stress. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's a lot of smoking and eating and sitting. You know what I mean? Not having a lot of time to go and exercise and get some fresh air.
Yeah. And because you see that with like all guys, everybody goes into politics, they all get old fast.
Yeah, I remember Obama was the biggest one, that like starkest change you could see.
See him just age and
like before he was president and then after his first term, and he's like, he literally looked like 15, 20 years older. Anyways, all that's pretty frustrating. Also, the whole shit with the big beautiful bill, and the only thing that I actually cared about that was in that bill, I mean, the tax breaks are nice still. Like, maintaining those tax breaks from his first admin are nice, because otherwise we were about to, like, as soon as those expired, we were about to get taxed out of the wazoo, especially for small business. And a lot of people just don't care, because a lot of people don't understand tax law and policy and how, like, you can have tax exemptions and policies and tax rates expire after a certain amount of time. Like, they're not laws. And so it was nice that was in the bill. But the thing I cared about the most, of course, was the stuff that would gut the NFA, which is known the National Firearms Act. And it would essentially allow us to buy suppressors and have shorter ARs or shotguns than what is currently the legal limit before you have to file paperwork and get it added into a registry and pay a stamp for it. And anyways, all that said, like, I was looking forward to that because guess what? Every other freaking first world country that, you know, you can own a firearm in mandates you use a suppressor when you hunt.
Yeah, all the ones that make it like it's incredibly difficult to get a rifle. To get a little plinker rifle, you have to have a suppressor.
Yeah, but you could get a suppressor in the hardware store.
Yep.
And so, anyways, all that said, I was looking forward to that because the NFA is a very outdated bill, or outdated like piece of legislature.
It's from 1934.
Yeah, and it came around because they wanted to make it a crime to possess essentially machine guns from, like, you know, Thompson machine guns and like the BAR when it was coming out and all that. They wanted it like to just be an extra crime they could charge the mobsters with, because they knew none of the mobsters were going to file that paperwork. And also $200 back then was the equivalent of like $4,500 today.
Yeah.
But anyways, that language is in there. It got gutted out in review in the House. And then rather than overruling the parliamentarian secretary, I believe is her name, is her title, which is an appointed position. She's not even elected. Rather than overruling her, and she was appointed during a Democratic admin, they just let it slide and be like, all right, yep, she says like we can't have any of this like language in here that will make it legal to like purchase and not have to register suppressors, and make it okay to like have SBRs, which SBRs still would be a firearm that needs a background check. You'd still go get a background check. Yep. You just wouldn't have to pay this tax stamp to the queen, you know, kiss the queen's finger to get your gun and let it be a little bit shorter. You wouldn't have to do that anymore because of you know, this bill that would have passed in the legislation that would have passed through it. And now instead of overruling her like Senator John Thune could have done, since he was sitting on the panel for the House in review, or like Vice President Vance could have done since he's overseeing the Senate and the vote on the bill, they just were like, yeah, I guess she says it's not there and we're not going to put it back in. So it was super, super frustrating. Made me very upset because it felt like they just didn't put any effort into fighting it. The good news, however, though, is the big, beautiful bill passed, and it passed with language that takes that $200 tax stamp, gets rid of it, goes to zero. And it also passed with our tax exemption rates and all that stuff. And the most dangerous part of the bill, I thought, was the part that was put in to sell Bureau of Land Management and Forestry land.
And that got pulled out.
That got pulled out.
That was the big one that everybody was.
Yeah, that was bipartisan. Everyone was like, you don't sell it to the highest bidder. Yeah. And it wasn't even going to sell that much land. I think we talked about this on the last episode, maybe a little bit. But it was going to sell somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1 to 2% of the Forest Service's land. No, sorry, it wasn't even that much. It was like 0.2%.
It's still like millions of acres.
Yeah, millions of acres. But when we're talking about 0.2, it's not like someone's going to be able to privately buy Estes. It was like there was land available along highways. There was land available that's already been checkerboarded from other hunting, like from other like plots and stuff. That land's also not even like getting used by anyone publicly, really. And so stuff like that was like, yeah, sure, sell it, fund the forestry service. I wasn't super anti that. I was anti some of the other areas I saw that were for sale that are like reservations or you know, national like grassland stuff. And that stuff, I'm like, okay, that's not checkerboarded yet. If you put that up for sale as well and someone just buys their cut, then we start getting it checkerboarded, and that's dangerous. Yep.
And that's the hard thing about even like the kind of more non-desirable spots they would be selling. It wouldn't be a place like Yellowstone. It's still, the hard thing about it is just like you never get it back. So you just have to keep like a hard line drawn.
You do never get it back.
And so, and with the checkerboarding stuff is interesting. They'll have you heard of, what corner crossing is?
As far as I understand it, you're crossing along the edge or corners of a farmer's land to get into the, public land for hunting. And a lot of farmers don't like that because you are going through their fence or, around at the edge of their property, and they don't want you to do that.
It'd be literal. When you find these plots of land, it's actually crazy because it actually is like perfect checkerboard.
Yeah.
And so
because it's fence post to fence post.
Yep. And it was when it had most of it came from railroad. Basically, to fund the railroad, they checkerboarded it up and just sold off plots. And then what happens with that is,
well, it makes sense. You think about any board game. It makes sense, like in Go, where you got to flip your enemies, you flip your opponent's tokens. It's like, I don't need to go in a straight line. I can just corner you on all sides, and then I don't even need to buy the one in the center. I essentially own the one in the center because I've cut off all access to it.
Yep. And so farmers don't like it, but also guys who own that stuff who like to hunt on it don't like when guys are getting on the public land. And what it is basically right at that corner where those four corners meet, you can technically go.
It is legal.
It's
law.
It's in
that defends it.
It's actually fairly recent over the past 2 years, like where it's gone to court, where basically if you go to that corner and then step over the fence, catty corner, so your leg swings over the fence, over two fences, and then drops back down on public land, and then you get on there. It's basically you came into their airspace, and so that's illegal. You trespassed by swinging your leg over.
That's pretty crazy.
So there were these guys who actually built a special ladder that like they'd bring with them.
Oh, I saw that.
To just like set over the fence, and they could just go over it. And they'd been getting into it with this landowner for a while, and then it went to court, and it went up to, I think, went up real high. Maybe Supreme Court, but I don't know what it ended up finally getting ruled on, if it was legal or not. But basically, it just became a big. It's been becoming a bigger thing, and. It is legal in Colorado, and I think it's legal in other states as well now. So it's starting to be protected, and so what some people are doing with it is they are proposing land trades where you'd go, okay, how about you trade the left side of your checkerboard for the right side, so we can have this chunk just be all public, and you can have all this other there's things like that where they're trying to like make that work better. But in general, just anytime we sell off any public land, it's not going public again. It's private.
Yeah. Which, that's kind of also like, I can't be 100% against that. Because I do think that if the federal government, we want to fund itself and essentially get rid of all taxation. Because I really do want to get to a day where I don't pay anything in taxes.
Right.
I want all taxation to go away. And the government needs to be able to fund itself and support itself. That's what it does and the services it offers. I do think if it wants to sell the land it owns and someone can afford to buy it, then that is capitalism, baby. You know what I mean? And like one day, if I have the money to do that, I don't now, but if I do have that, I'd want to be able to take advantage of that and buy some nice plot of land where I get to fish and hunt and shoot on. Which, I know is like the argument against like, Texas is like, there is no public land in Texas. Everything is owned in Texas. If you want to go shoot somewhere, you're going on someone's land and paying them, or you're going to a shooting range, indoor or outdoor. But there's no free place to go shoot your guns. Same with hunting in Texas. Anywhere you go and hunt in Texas, you're paying to hunt on someone's land. And I guess I also am like, yeah, it's capitalism, baby. Like, I don't necessarily have an outright problem with it, but I understand the frustration and I understand the draw and desire to like keep things preserved in a way to make sure everyone can use it, even those who don't have the money to buy land and stuff like that, which I think is important. And so it's kind of one of those things where, you want to know how I really feel? I feel like I should be allowed to hunt in Rocky Mountain National Park. That's how I really feel. I feel like I should be allowed to pull up there in the parking lot and go hunt in that park. My taxes pay for it. If I get the tag, I should be able to go in there and get myself an elk.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this as someone who's never gone on a super serious hunting trip before, right? I've never done like a 10-day camp out to pursue an elk tag or something like that, right? But I also know it'd be very hypocritical if I just say outright, yeah, we should never sell those lands, because I do think there is a time and place where it makes sense for the government to sell land to pay for itself. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm open to your feedback on if that's totally off base in your opinion.
I think it's not off base. It's just that for me, it comes into like the slippery slope stuff, where it's basically just like once it's, or the salami slice approach, where it's just like, and once you let that guard down and let it continue, like then it does get. When does it get to the point where it is selling off? All of it, or certain places and things like that. Yeah. And so, so there's, those, and I think that there probably is, maybe there's a time and place for it, but I think that, I guess that's where you would hope that your representatives are actually representing what you want for it, like representing the populace. Like if, this part of Utah decided they want to get rid of it or want to sell it, like, okay, but you just have to hope that you're represented well in what you want. And I think that for me, it's basically comes down to just that don't want to see any more get sliced away. But and I think that I don't think that what it would sell for would fund much of a darn thing. Like, what's our debt right now?
Yeah, our debt's like what, like 35 trill.
Yeah, like
but it wasn't to like fund that. It was to fund the parks. Right.
But it's so it's still like it could go places, but it's just like either way, like looking at the federal government holistically, just being like, this is not going to move the needle for what we need in general. Would it pay for the parks for 2 years, 10 years, 100 years, or would it, and so I think it's that's definitely one space where I like for being like right leaning. Whenever Republicans bring it up, it's like no, thank you. But what I do want to talk about some too was for how our federal government is funded is, and I didn't know this till the other day, that we used to be fully funded off of tariffs. Like there was like
back in the day,
the federal government we
before we got to gold standard and shit.
Yeah, we funded our government from 1790 to 1860 just on tariffs. Tariffs were 90% of the federal revenue. That's pretty wild.
It's because we were exporting a lot of stuff. It was the new world, man.
And the government was tiny, as it should be.
It was tiny. Well, and then, it changed in 1860-ish. The government got divided in half.
Yeah.
It had to have a little fight with itself.
There was, for that too, I learned the other day too, is that for the Civil War, I didn't know that like it was like Spain and there was like France and a couple of those were getting on board with the South.
Oh yeah. Everyone got on board with the South.
No one's giving them crap for that. And it was Russia got on board with the North.
Well, and this is unpopular, right?
Yeah.
And I really don't care how people feel, but it was like something 3% of Americans owned slaves at the time when the Civil War broke out. And it was like, I think in the North it was something like 2% of North aligned states had slaves. 3% of like the Southern Confederate aligned states had slaves. And then it was ironic. Most of the states that sat it out and didn't pick a side had way higher rates of slavery ownership. But when people were asked, like, why did you fight in the Civil War on the South? Like, were you pro-slavery? No one who was down, like, interviewed and who fought in that, like, none of the soldiers in the Confederacy owned slaves. Like, if you were a soldier in the Confederacy, especially if you were, like, drafted when they were coming through town, like, we need men and boys. Like, you're gonna wear these grays and come through. those were not the people who were of the class who could afford slaves. But they all said, the ones who volunteered even and signed up, they said, well, we fought because they invaded. We fought because we were being invaded. It wasn't that we were pro-slavery. It was that we were anti them and blue coats invading and taking our land and our towns and telling us this is the way it was going to be. And I found that really interesting. Like, that's the most cited, like, and this isn't me like making shit up. Like, you can look it up. Like, the most statistically referenced reason for soldiers enlisting was due to the like antagonist invasion and threats of the North, of the government. Essentially, it was just a bunch of boys who were like, the government doesn't just get to march down here and take my shit away. And I say that, and someone's immediately gonna be like, take my shit away, you're talking about slaves. I'm like, no, again, these guys didn't own slaves. What the government did do is they come down and like, well, we are going to take your business, and we are going to take your dollars, and we are going to take your food and your crops and whatever to fund, you know, the war effort to secure the rest of this place and lock it down. And people were like, nah, dude, that's not happening. I'd rather die than watch you take everything away from me. So now, am I happy the North won? Absolutely. But will I always like try to clear that up when people make that misassumption? For sure. 100% without a doubt. Relating back to what we were talking about though, I think that's like, you know, that's the kind of, well, actually I can't remember how that related back. You might have to edit this. What were you saying before that? And now I got on the South Side. The 1860s.
Yeah. Yep. Tariffs.
Yeah. That happened, and then we needed all of a sudden a lot more money to fund the government.
Yep.
And then half of the nation was very poor because they lost the war. So the government needed more money to go and rebuild the nation. And it all changed, man. It all changed.
It did. And so I was just, with the tariffs, everybody's getting real all puckered on tariffs lately. But that's just because we've unfortunately completely become reliant on little plastic doohickeys coming over from China and getting out on my porch in 10 seconds after I push a button.
It's a sad thing because, like, you know, today I shoot guns a lot, and I saw that it was announced Trump is doing a 50% tariff on copper as an import into the U.S. from China, I think. And it's like, yeah, that does suck, and it is going to make it more expensive, but that tariff is there to also incentivize copper production here at home. You know, that's the big thing as well, is like, yes, tariff imports to tax imports, but also have more domestic production. So that way we can revitalize independence and self-reliance in the U.S. industry as a whole, which then leads to more revenue and stuff internally and less spending externally.
Yeah, we have to start reindustrializing America. The pickle of that is where we've gotten to ourselves into with kind of environmentalist suing battles. I was thinking about this on my drive. I was driving up from Texas yesterday, and I was thinking about what would it take to bring back, forms of industrialization to America. And I never got very far in my thought process because everything I come up with would just get even if you had huge budgets, it just get immediately halted by someone saying you can't build that here, or this is the regulation, or we want this piece of the pie for it. And it's just oh man, we might be in a position where we can't do that anymore. And I think that's not necessarily true. I think it's just be very, very, very difficult. And everything would have to be automated because no one's going to go do that job in a factory or in a warehouse, and maybe that's not true, but
I think there's a lot of Gen Zers or whatever you want to call them, Zoomers, whatever, that are going to end up enthusiastically finding meditative work in blue collar, quote unquote, factory work that you know what, is going to be paying good money because they're going to need laborers in the U.S. to do it. And it's going to, I think,
coming at me right now, who has 14 degrees and is very capable but can't get a job to buy a house, right?
real.
Like the new era of basement dweller, but not like the old one. Like it's just so it's like, I don't know what that looks like, but I do think that the kind of old thoughts of like living within your means, and waste not, want not, or what these sorts of things. Are we capable of even having that as our expectations, or what we see as like a thriving life, as reaching like a good life? Or is it like, no man, I need like the whatever, I need a yacht, or I need a this or that or whatever, or all the lies of the world that we've that we TikToked or Instagrammed ourselves into, of what is like quote unquote a normal life. It's like, that's not normal, that's extravagant.
Well, and I think I think that's though not like anything new, you know what I mean? I think that's the way it's been. I think the guys who, the Homer Simpsons back in the 60s, 70s, who could 80s, 90s, I don't know, like the Hals from Malcolm in the Middle, who their wife could be a supermarket manager and they could be what did Hal do? I can't remember what he did all of a sudden. But Homer Simpson, you know, Marge was stay-at-home mom, and Homer Simpson worked at the power plant. And that dude made enough money to have a house and pay the bills and feed his family and yada yada. I think that lifestyle, those people who were there and still got to live through that point of time in America would still say, like, yeah, you know what, like we didn't know we were living the American dream, because we always thought the American dream was that, like, a little bit more. The American dream was actually that timeshare in Aspen. The American dream was like the 2 jet skis that were down at the condo in Florida, whatever, right? And now a lot of us look back and they're like, holy shit, I was living the American dream, because I was working one job, wife got to stay home, raise my kids, I was never worried about who was looking after them or their safety, and they weren't getting indoctrinated into like weird shit at school. Oh, and also, like, I had a roof over my head, food in my belly, and it was enough money to also save up for retirement, pension, whatever. And now I think a lot of people look back on that and see, like, ooh, like, it's borderline impossible to be making less than like a household income of 6-figure plus to even feel stable, let alone to feel like you got enough to feed everybody, clothe everybody, get out of the debt cycle, get out of the, renting cycle, and get into like serious, like, freedom, or financial security. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it is a hard conversation, because it is gotten to the point where, owning a house is like, seems like a goalpost always moving forward, or like something just astronomical, or something that you could get, but you're just gonna have to totally, sign your, be house poor, and or whatever, all the way over to the
especially
pieces.
Especially in places like Colorado, dude. Like, I think there's some places in Colorado you can afford to live, but you're still paying more than the equivalent to like Nebraska. Like, you can live in the plains of Colorado, and you could do so for rather affordably comparatively. You're paying more money than you would to do that in Nebraska and have better quality of living there in a better sized town and more convenient. Dude, I see stuff in our town here that's just, oh my God, it's just insulting. I'm talking like 1,300 square foot old school houses that need completely renovated on the inside. Foundation is leaning and sinking. They flood once a year in the basement.
$750.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is outrageous, dude. Like, who's paying for that? I don't know anyone who's buying that stuff. You know what I mean? Everyone I know who's purchased a house in the last few years has actually made pretty decent purchases on like cost of square footage. They just wait around and wait for them to show up. And
I understand, like, inflation, cost of, into, rise in market pricing. But like, when I was a kid, not all that long ago, we used to have a phrase called $1 million house. You'd be like, they live in $1 million house.
They live in $1 million house.
And it was like, huge, 4,000 square foot house, freaking made out of huge like wood timbers. They got a theater room downstairs, whole upstairs is a master bedroom, whatever. And, that 40-foot long kitchen island that's, granite countertop, whatever, the house with the back deck and the hot tub, all that stuff. But now it's like, I don't know, we're pushing like, now it's like, yeah, man, he lives in a $3 million house, whatever. It's like tripled. That's crazy.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. I'm going to look at and just see a couple of things here. I just want to see, I'm now aware that I didn't know that I was living in $1 million home. Oh yeah. My grandparents' house, 2,700, about 2,800 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, down in like South Denver area.
Is this a story you're reading?
No, this is my house.
Oh, this is your house.
This is my grandparents' house.
Oh, okay.
I think my grandfather sold it for like, I think he bought it in like, I know he bought it and then they built on additions or something. And it was, at the time, I thought it was a lot of money. It was like $500,000 to buy the house and the land it was on and do the additional garage and renovations in it. Now it seems like they've done some stuff like put up some fences and stuff like that, solar. It's over $1 million. It's a $1.1 million home, which is insane to me because I'm like, I lived in that and I didn't think I was living in a $1 million house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at a couple other ones here just to,
like,
to see.
Wish you kept it and rented it. But that's funny about that too, that looking back and there's all these different properties things over time. I'll talk with like my family, other people are like, man, we should have kept that and like rented it or whatever. But it's like, yeah, we didn't know that it was gonna triple, and wages haven't tripled, so it's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see that. I mean, I know we've talked about it before too, but it is just mind-boggling to me, the rate at which wages have fallen behind. Because you always hear it and it's like, yeah, okay, everyone's still pissing and moaning about they don't make enough money, yada yada. I don't make enough money. You don't see me pissing and whining. And then you like look at the statistics and you're just like, oh my God, like wages have not kept up. This is insane how far behind they are. How are we supposed to afford anything, with the way these have inflated? And it's just, it's sad, but it is the way it is right now. And hopefully, I'm a dreamer, you know what I mean? But I'm saying hopefully tariffs help kind of rebalance a lot of this stuff again.
Yeah, because like let's break down. 1980s, we got rent, $200. Now 2025, this is kind of like average across America, $2,000. All right. Now it's funny thing, TVs back in the day, $3,000 versus today's TV of $600 comparatively.
Yep.
For the same size TV. CD player, $500. Music, $100. All right, cell phone, $2,000. Now it's $1,000. Let's see, computer, $2,500. I guess this is breaking down kind of the shift in luxuries. Where we go to computer, $2,500. Now you can get the same computer for $500. Microwave, $500. Microwave now $200. And so where's the rest of this breakdown? Where did it go? But then so that's kind of speaking to like luxuries and things, how we've seen stuff flip from that goes back to China's, our dependency on China. But then where we have where home sales price 1980 average was $64,000 up to now average home price 2023 $426,000. That's
crazy,
a big increase. And average wages, I thought it said average wages on it. Let's look at average wages of 1980 versus 2025. Oh, where's this little picture? Show me the picture. I can't read a whole article right now. There's nothing great coming up.
I know we looked at it before.
We
looked at episode, and it's like all the different inflation rates.
Yeah, these are all too complicated. They're not showing stuff. Just give me the two numbers. There's one really the AI Googler was getting too far. But we know what it is. It's like average wage was like 20,000, now it's like 70 or whatever, and it's like that's not quite cutting the.
It's not cutting the mustard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here we go. Found my grandparents' house before they moved into that one.
It's a
2,555 square foot home in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they bought it for like $300,000. Big deal back then, you know what I mean? And it was gosh, I wonder. I'm looking here for the history to see what they sold it for. But nowadays it is worth estimated $715,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's unreal to me, man. That's like a 50% markup. Yeah, they sold it. Sorry, they bought it for just under $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Sold it for $335,000.
Mm.
And now it's worth $715,000 in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And what the craziest thing would be if you looked at it like over the last...
Looked at my grandfather's salary then?
Or that, and if you looked at the last 6 years.
Yeah.
What it kind of bumped in there, you know?
Yeah.
But hey, the crazy thing too is the new builds, man. They're built so bad. I watched this guy on YouTube.
So bad.
It's like this home inspector who he has this big floppy hat on. Have you seen the big floppy hat home inspector guy?
Yeah. Sigh.
And he just goes around and just tears these.
It's like, I can't tell you who the builder is.
Yeah.
And then he like just walks past the front sign.
Yeah.
That's always the best.
I mean, they slap these things together and they are not awesome. I'm in new builds all the time. I'm just looking around like,
they're so bad, dude.
What are they doing in here?
Yeah, it's rough.
So if you want a brand new house, bite the bullet and get a custom home builder.
Yeah, honestly, that's just better. It's going to save you more money in the long run because the new builds are insanely overpriced now anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just get a custom home built, you're way better in luck. I've heard a lot of good things too from people who have bought and are I mean, of course there's a bias, right? You buy it and you don't want to live in a bad house and have a bad opinion of house.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard a lot of good things of people buying and living in the kind of like manufactured homes where you they're like kit homes, right? Like you build your basic floor plan that gets mailed and gets assembled, and then you expand it to whatever plan or design you want to do. And they used to be an alternative to how expensive it was to just buy a home or buy a custom home. They were seen as a cheaper thing, and now they're seen as the more reliable, more consistent manufacturing than you are getting with random Joe Blow contractors out there just building stuff and not building it up to code or spec at all.
Yeah. And part of the reason why they new builds can hike their prices so high is it's a game they're playing is they hike up that price, and what they're doing is they sell you the home, so they make money on it. But also what they're doing is, and you probably saw this while you were looking at some spots. I don't know if you looked into it, but in a new development, they will finance the house for you.
Yeah,
and they will come in way below on the percentage rate.
I remember that was the thing that was the biggest red flag to me when we were looking at stuff. They're like, "Yeah, we'll come in at we'll offer it today at 5.5% rate, and
as opposed to today's,
we'll give you $100,000 down payment." I was like, "What? You're gonna give me $100,000 to go towards the down payment?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll mark it off and put it." I'm like, "Okay, so what this really looks like is
did I just walk into a car dealership? What's happening here?" Exactly,
right? And it and you see how everything else is done with the, oh yeah, by the way, none of these things are in the home for you, but you can just add them on the back of the sheet. And they add into the home cost. And yeah, we are getting the cheapest from China washer and dryer and stove.
Toilet. I got to add the toilet.
Yeah, you got to add a toilet. But
really,
we're getting the cheapest one and we're marking it up 3,000%. And you're going to see on the when it comes to closing costs, that washer and dryer, $30,000 of the $100,000 they marked off.
Oh yeah,
it's just bonkers. It's insanity. Anyways, you know what? We've covered a lot of stuff here, Pat, today. We've covered a lot of disgruntled results from our current admin, which is sad because I think, there's so many people who voted for this admin to deliver on things that, for the most part, I feel like they were delivering on. And I say that's someone who didn't vote for him. With the ambition or hope that they would deliver on it. But once they got in there was a lot I saw that they were promising. I'm like, hey, all right, you won. Let's see you deliver here. I'm still holding hope for Maha. I'm still holding out hope that we truly do see all of the dyes and all that removed. I'm really fingers crossed hoping for, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but just more thorough vetting and review of the vaccinations and the trials that were done on them, because already there's stuff coming out about like the Hep B trials and stuff and mandates and how Hep B is kind of sketchy. But all that said, I hope the health movement succeeds the most. That's the one I'm finger crossing the most, because at least if like we're not getting cancer from the toxins in our potato chips, then like we'll live long enough to hopefully try to fix whatever fuck up they make. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's I agree. That's the one that I think that lots of people could get behind, you know, and there's big money in that that's going to try to stop it, but that's the one that could have some, you know, have some positive outcomes, and we will see. We'll see if the old guy gets it done. You know,
savage, bro. All right. Well, hey, thanks for listening, Ken. Let us know what you're happy or unhappy with in the current admin. Oh gosh, and if you're out there and you know some stuff about Epstein and the list, and you know what, you're just ready to spill the beans on it, let us know. We'd love to have you talk about it. I'm making a giant call. I'm making a casting call right now.
Die.
I don't care. Like, try it, dude. Try it. Honestly, try it. No, actually, I'll say this right now. If you want to kill us for talking about it, try it. All right. With that, yeah, we have a lot of fun with a lot of laughs here. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you, Ken. Pat, you got anything?
Till next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.